Welcome in to another new podcast from the Association for Materials Protection and Performance. Of course, we're best known as AMP for short. As always, I'm your host, Ben Dubose, news editor with the AMP publications team. And today, I'm excited to welcome in Amir Eliezer, immediate past chair of the AMP Board of Directors. We're going to be discussing key takeaways for the industry from the recently completed 2024 AMP Annual Conference and Expo, as well as the ongoing merger transition process of the AMP Board of Directors and the AMP Global Center Board of Directors. For anyone unaware, AMP is a member-driven organization, and historically, it's been led by two boards of directors, which are responsible for guiding the organization and ensuring that all member and industry needs are served. However, in 2024, there's a transition process underway to form one board, and Amir is leading that transition team. So we're certainly going to talk about that on today's episode as well. First things first, Amir, thanks for taking the time to speak with us, and let's start with your career biography. Can you give our listeners a bit more detail as far as your career journey, both in terms of what you've done at an association level, as well as the things you've done in the broader industry?
Well, I think as we have a limited podcast or however you call it, I think I'll focus on AMP and the association. But I will share. So I do have 4 degrees, 3 in materials engineering, bachelor's up to a PhD. And in order to understand business, because, bottom line, the business is what's running the world. So I also have an additional MBA. I believe in practical approach, and therefore, on one side, I've joined an institute, which basically gave an opportunity for most people who actually they don't have their grades in the very beginning, but we have a special training. So they do 1 year of training, and when they final their engineering degree, they become the best in the industry. So this is and I am very proud for this. Overall, I taught more than 15,000 students. I have hundreds of students that they've done their thesis on corrosion, and they're everywhere, all over. So I do have also a corrosion. I'm a director of a corrosion research center, and we do focus on bio. And this is basically where I believe in the practical. So it started with corrosion and automotive, and then a nice story. I won an award, and the person who gave me the award told me, he gave me a lot of compliments. Said, my wife, she was a medical doctor, and he was 95 years old. Can you do something on medical with corrosion? And actually, for the last many years, I'm working also on corrosion and medical. So not only that I'm involved in the academy, I'm muchly involved in industries, starting from the automotive, now in the biomedical, and I'm also leading. And one of the most important things that I studied in life, that in order to make things happen, so you need to be involved. I have a passion for, maybe people think it's not so nice, but politics. I love politics. So I'm elected a politician where I live for the last 20 years, and also deputy mayor. And actually, just now, after 20.5 years, I've decided to not to run for another term, and now to go to the higher levels on the national and the international level from the municipality. So you asked for it. I'm a combination of a professor plus involved in leading industries and love politics.
And where are you based out of?
Well, I travel all over the world, as you know, and I'm based in Israel, which this is also something interesting, coming from a relative small country and to be involved and to become a leader in such a huge and important association. It is something that I appreciate very much.
Yeah, and I think it's only fitting because, of course, one of the real areas of focus for AMP as an association now is increasing the global reach, the global presence. That's something that's a priority across the board for Alan Thomas, our CEO, and those of us on staff, such as myself. So I want to talk a little bit more about your experience as a member leader and your journey within AMP. Can you tell us why you got actively involved at an association level, and what are some of the highlights from your time in those roles?
So, we talk about AMP, and AMP was a merger of NACE and SSPC. So I've done almost all the positions as a member within NACE. So I started from being a faculty advisor of at that time, the largest student chapter. Well, it was called section. And then on the level of the area, I've done all the roles: secretary, treasurer, vice chair, chair. And then I became the director area. I was also involved in other organization. I'm also past president of the World Corrosion Organization, and I was also involved in other corrosion associations. So I believe that if you have good ideas, it's okay to talk to yourself. But if you really want to make a change, it's better to get involved. And the fact that for the last 20 plus years, also with the corrosion associations, every year I got voted because, for all these things you get voted in. And this is basically the passion. And so you also, as a board member at NACE, I was involved in many of we called it body of knowledge teams, whether it's public policy outreach and body of knowledge and area operation. And actually, I was the last, what we called the area coordinator for at NACE. So from that, and another interesting story is that we came to our board meeting at NACE in October 2019, and actually the merger idea started a year ago, but we were not involved, and they came and told us about it, and I was like, yeah, but where are the international people? Actually, the both teams from both associations, they had no one international. Bottom line, the day after, they came to us and they said, you know what? You are correct. Vote for a person that will represent the international. Because at that time, we had at NACE, we had 8 area directors, 3 from the US, 5 from the outside. And basically, they voted for me to represent them. So the only way to influence, remember, is from the inside. And then opportunities grow. And we can speak later on the international, but the international, many people say, oh, AMP is now going for the international. AMP is not going for international just because, last year we talked a lot about international. We'll go to it. Actually, the opportunities and the business opportunities is much more geographical and even outside of the US. And this is also the reason. So go ahead.
I want to spotlight your journey a bit more because, as you described when you were going through your bio, you've got a lot of things already on your plate. What was the inspiration for you to go the extra mile and get involved at the leadership level that you have? What was the motivation? Was it strictly the international representation? Was it something else at an industry level? Just talk about why this has been worth your time, because obviously you've given a lot of your time to the association the last few years.
Well, I gave a lot of time, not only the last few years, because I believe in the only way to be involved is to be active and prove yourself. And actually, now when I said that I stepped down, so also my mayor, he stepped down after 34 years. And he taught me, and it's not even typical that you have a position in the academy and you're involved in industry and you're also a deputy mayor. It's not really common. And he taught me a very important sentence. And the last week, actually last 2 weeks, we had, because it just happened now that we stepped down and we're still under many ceremonies. And I said in one of the occasions that the mayor taught me a very important sentence: only busy people have time to work. And you saw how much time did it take me to reply to you? Almost nothing.
Yep.
I reply fast. I'm always available and I reply fast. Sometimes I reply in minutes. People ask me, do you have a bot that does it? No. I have the passion to make things happen. We are in a journey. We live once, and I believe in giving back. association, because when I'm saying AMP, I did not grow only on AMP. I grew also from NACE. But the thing is that when you give back, and you get, and I can say that what I studied from the leaders that I've known, it's amazing. We are friends for dozens of years, and it's not only about the international. It's me understanding the people and what the people need. And I always say, if I'm not good enough, they can also decide not to vote me for another term. And I can even tell you another thing. I was actually voted to start because I was a director in AMP, and then I was voted to have another term from 2022 to 2024 as a director. And what did I decide? I was voted already. I could have now easily 3 years, but I decided I will go for vice chair because I believe that these years are the most critical and most important for the future of AMP.
Yeah, I would agree. In the immediate aftermath of the merger, that's an excellent point. And so, in your duties beyond being on the board, as mentioned leading off the top, you're an immediate past chair, you've got the vice chair role, you've got a lot of different hats. The bottom line is you're very involved, and we greatly appreciate that. One of the things that I know is leading your agenda in 2024, you're currently leading the transition team, and we mentioned this off the top as well, for the merger of the AMP boards. So for anyone that's unaware of that, that doesn't know the details, why is that so important? What was the motivation for those boards to come together as one? Just walk us through that process and the motivations for it.
Okay, so I'll do it as simple as I can, and I will also do it in a way not to disclose too much because we're under a process.
Sure.
And it's not that I want to influence our team in a way.
Fair.
So I'll do it in a political way. Having SSPC and NACE was amazing. The merger was amazing. I think the fact that two strong associations merged to one, that was very good. But I was also part of the transition team. And again, I was you remember, it was 2.5 years. I was only one of that transition team. But I was part of the process. And I saw a lot of things that needed to be changed. And this is and when I stepped in, and actually the 2 years after the transition, they were focused a lot on making the transition, making the merger happen, making AMP to evolve. I have a huge respect, as mentioned, for all of the past immediate chair, the past chairs, and before was president. I have a huge appreciation for everybody. Okay, for Joe and Terry, and that they are called the godfather of the merger of NACE and SSPC, as well to all the people that stepped in. Tim Bieri, Sam Scaturo, Joyce, and when you say names, you really don't want to forget people, but I'm together with Chris. But the thing is, I told Terry and Joe, listen, I think it's okay, but we have much more potential. So, many people don't even know that we have two boards. And the two boards became of something that maybe that was the best solution at that time. Okay. But think about it. When we have the program committees, because as of today, we have 12 program committees. 7 are sitting under the globals, 5 are sitting under the AMP, and we also have a few committees which are dual for both boards, and we have also advisory councils. But think about it. When you're now, yes, in a way, the AMP is basically the parent board, but bottom line is a lot of people there talking about, boards of equal and all that things. But bottom line, it's about decision making. So think about it. You're sitting on a board, and then you're saying, oh, am I the parent board? Am I the sister board? And then wait, this is under, if you have, for example, a decision making, you're basically making decisions on only, let's say, half of AMP. Okay, I'm making it simple. So how can you think about it if you're now representing, whether, in the US you have the the capital, can you represent only half of the states? Or, I mean, if you're on the state, but let's say you're always representing your state, but can you represent only half of the interest of the country? Or makes more sense to represent the whole? And basically, this brought a lot of communications where basically took much more time. So what I did is in 1/1/23, when I stepped in, I said in the very first meeting, I mean, in 1/1, a few days after, first, merger has history. 2023, we focus only on the future. Two, I told to both Terry and Joe, listen, I think I want to do everything to have one board. And they told me, listen, you're crazy. I mean, doing such a thing, it's going to be, yeah, it will take much more time, and and maybe it's good for 5 more years. But I felt that it makes no sense when we are not one board, where we are not thinking as one AMP and sharing. We have the vision, the mission and vision, but we need to think as one. And one of the things that here I need also to thank the staff. And I know, Ben, that you are a staff, and but I must say that we have an association that can easily lead 100,000 members. Yes, maybe we'll need more staff, but bottom line is our staff is utmost talented staff in the associations. And we have so many people which are focused. And now we have, an amazing CEO who is so talented and driven, and also business driven. But the thing is, already in January, I was at headquarters and I started to ask for data. And I said, listen, I'm not, people are not used to it. But I said, I am not here to question anybody. I'm not also your boss. Your boss is, the CEO. I want to get the data in order to understand the association, because I know how to read data. So here, there's also the advantage when you come from your scientifical and the industry, because also the industry is based on and bio. And I can tell you this, in 2023, staff has presented to me maybe 120 plus presentations. And Rebecca, she presented huge amount of presentations under, she was working for Alina. And we wanted to understand where is our problems. We wanted to understand, why don't I feel the passion of the members enough? Why do we have so many members that, they left the association? Even though, yeah, we were good in numbers, but why did we go down? And when we went deep into the data, we basically understood that we, in many cases, lost the heart and the souls of our members. And we need to bring back the members, and we need to bring back the possibilities to help them. And for this, you need also one board. And I'll give you a very simple example, which you heard about it, but maybe we can go for it next in your further questions. I'll go back to that example. But the thing is, if you want to, when you have one, so you unite one AMP and you share the vision and you have one organization. And the thing is, if you want to see our members and the industry involved, and you saw we also had now the 20-something sister societies event that I started last year. Mm-hmm. We want that everybody will be here on the long-term partnership. And this is why once we aligned, so basically you saw, and we had a special amazing day where the staff met, so where you realign the organization,
the summit.
You build up the summit, and you build up strategic industries and geographies, and together now you reshape the operating model. And then basically we're working also on, the culture. We need to understand, we're in 141 countries. We have members for 141 countries. We just celebrated the 100 chapters, as you know. And we have now more than 20 student chapters. And we started 2023 with 0 student chapters, because everything started all together. And the idea here that we need that everybody will feel that they belong. And if you want everybody to feel that they belong, you need to have one board. And basically, I told everybody that we need one board, and it makes also more sense because it's agile, fast decisions, and this is what I was doing. Actually, all of the 2023, every board meeting, we made decisions. It wasn't just presenting data or getting information. We had a lot of decisions, a lot of motions. We had even a few, and board also had a few meetings in between on Zoom board meetings. And I also told that we need to be ambassadors because we are ambassadors. So basically, this what made everything fascinating. I also told the people, please, we contacted 85% of our chapters either by the phone calls and attending, and we started to work on a calendar. The idea that staff is here to help, officers and directors are here to help, and we all want to help our members and our customers because some are not members, but they're great customers. I was in an amazing conference at DoD. I think 50% weren't members of AMP, but AMP has provided an amazing organizational tool to the DoD conference. And bottom line, customers, members, user, and we call it now user experience. We're heading toward an exciting world, but we need to talk as one language, one AMP.
So how is that process going? Can you shed some light on, I suppose, the milestones, the challenges, and just broadly speaking, when is the expected completion date?
Okay, so first, it's going amazing. Actually, in December, we had a very interesting meeting, and actually, let you give some input. In October, the boards, we have 3 face-to-face meetings in 23. So one is that conference, then you have during the summer, and then you have the fall. So my board meeting was basically I chose Baltimore because we had a very good deal in Baltimore, and I wanted to save money, but staff found the deal. Actually, Carmen, she's great, and we had there a workshop with both boards talking about one AMP, and we already got a motion there, a beginning of a motion that both boards, they liked the idea, and we will have a special board meeting in December. And actually in December, we had a special board meeting where both boards basically agreed to have one board. And not only this, I basically also put my name on the grill and said, okay, I'm willing to lead. And also both board agreed that I will lead them. And this was a very important thing. It's not only that, I really wanted this one board, but I say, okay, I wanted this one board. So, I thought the AMP needs a one board. And then maybe it's not so typical also to put your name and then it was also a motion that I will lead. And the thing that I also said, that also everybody agreed on, that basically I'm willing to work with any team that will be elected. And basically both chairs, Paul and Kristen, they have chosen, their representative, and I will lead any person. So we have now an amazing transition team. We're all, we're all voting members. But the big issue here is, we need to do things when we enjoy it. And the way we're doing it, every 2 weeks we have a meeting. And what I like about it is that we want to move things where they're unanimous and in a very pleasant way. And here we're also doing something very special. I'm working with the staff. So, I'm working with the executive staff and, on the top, Alan, and we have, of course, Carmen, but we're working internally. The idea of working internally, what I asked is, normally when you do, even if I take the transition, that was, it was a big transition having 2 associations. But what I said is, and I also said it in Baltimore in October, we know what we want. We feel the association. We know what our members need. We know what our industries need. Let's work together. So the idea is that we are working as a transition team together. We're meeting every 2 weeks. Actually, tonight, I mean, in my midnight, 12 o'clock, we have a transition team. But, it's 4 p.m. Central. And the idea is we will get the decisions, and we have an amazing transition team timeline. But so we put a timeline. We put a timeline from January to end of December. But the whole idea here is that we will go to the lawyers when we got our decisions already made. So we don't have a lawyer every meeting. We don't have even a consultant every meeting. We're working by ourselves. Then they will do the fine tuning. So we're saving a lot of money, but it's a teamwork. Now, what we do is at every board meeting, so on each board, because 2024 business as usual, we still have the 2 boards. I'm giving an update. I also gave it now at conference, but the final decision will be, made by both boards. But we're basically doing all the work, and then we will present both boards to vote on. And before it will go to the vote, after we have decided, what we think best, the fine tuning on the wording and for the lawyers and experts, then they will go and then they will go to lawyers. But it's not that they are leading us. We're basically leading each other together with the staff. And this is something unique, in my opinion. Regarding the completion date, I said 1/1/25, this is the goal. And we're going to do everything that we will be ready in 1/1/25.
Sounds great. And hopefully it's realistic. Time will tell. But I know you're working very hard to make that happen. You mentioned teamwork and the people you're working with. There's a lot of people that we can point to, but for purposes of this discussion, I want to single out Paul Vennick and Kristen Leonard, current chairs of the AMP and AMP Global Center boards of directors, as well as Alan Thomas, the CEO of AMP, as both of us have referenced a few times. Can you talk about what the collaborative process is between you and Paul, Kristen, and Alan? How do they work with you? What is the collective buy-in? Just speak, if you could, to that process of working with other staff and member leaders in the organization to make sure that you're all aligned and that we're all working towards that same end goal.
Sure. So first, I'm privileged and blessed to work with amazing people. We get a lot of information. And by the way, what we also do is we have, I have in between meetings, and then we provide the materials to the team to work. Paul, I even mentioned, you heard me mentioning during the honorary night. I did not know Paul before. I think I don't know him more than 2 years. He was in SSPC. And I can tell you that now Paul is like a family member to me. He's an amazing person. I believe in working one. I can say that when I was chair, we used to speak sometimes a few times a week because I see it, as one thing together. And especially when you're going to such a one board, one of the most important was that both board will be aligned on it. Both boards will want it. So you need a very good team. Kristen, she's super talented. She's leading her board, because I came from the AMP board. You've seen that also, as I mentioned, each one they have chosen, the similar amount of people, but we're working together. Now there could be also ways where people they have also disagreements, which is perfect. I mean, that's part of life. But we also have an executive team where basically both executive for both boards, we also have our own meetings. So and as mentioned, 2024 business as usual. So the whole idea is, as mentioned, that things will be together. So with Paul and Kristen, in my opinion, they're doing a great work, both of them as chairs. And in my opinion, we are aligned together. And we can also see it so far. when I'm looking on the transition team timeline, I mean, we're doing good. We have our timeline, which basically we build it together. If there was something that Paul Paul or Kristen had some resistance, so it wouldn't become such a position. Now, don't think everything goes easy. I mean, we do have heavy discussions. Sometimes, one small thing can take a lot of time, but as mentioned, when I was in one of the workshops in the non-for-profit in Florida, and I studied that there's 1.6 million non-for-profit associations in the U.S., and then they showed us a lot of slides, and I'm like, we're pretty good. We know this stuff. And I can tell you also our executive, Helena and Cindy, they're in a very high level. So we're all working as one team, and that's related to Paul and Kristen, which basically I'm privileged, and and the whole idea is also because this is sensitive. I don't want that the transition team will influence their business as usual 2024. So we need to work in a very sensitive and smart way. And as mentioned, everything always goes to the board for the decision and vote. We are basically bringing it to the board. Regarding Alan is, one of a kind. I was fortunate to be part of having Alan for AMP. Alan has so many amazing characteristics that can lead AMP staff to the next 10 years. We were talking about it, that one of the things that I think that once we have this AMP transition, one board, it will be also easier for Alan to run AMP for levels that I don't want to again to disclose too much, but you heard a little bit. But the whole idea is when you're taking AMP is not only AMP as corrosion as. So basically, when we're talking AMP, we're talking about materials protection and performance. We're talking about energy, about governments, defense. We're talking about strategic geographies, emerging industries, and Alan has so much about it. So we are blessed and privileged to have such officers as Kristen and Paul, together with Alan, that he totally understands, and he's a leader on his own, and we know we are here to do everything to guide. And Alan, he's the boss of the staff, and the synergy is amazing. So I hope it answered to you. Every day that we're working together is a wonderful day in life.
Well, and it also leads into what I was going to ask as my next question, which is what opportunities does this combination bring once the boards are hopefully won in January of 2025? Because I think that simplicity of management and decision making that you were referencing with Alan, that's a great example of something that this combination could mean for the association and the broader industry. But just broadly speaking, I know you don't want to get into specifics for obvious reasons, but let's say this gets done by January 2025 on schedule. And so we're approaching AMP annual conference in Nashville, Tennessee in April 2025, and these boards are combined. What are some of the opportunities that are out there with this combination that might have been more difficult before once these boards were two rather than one?
I'll give you the most simplest example. I come from the membership. I've been 14, 15 years in different membership roles at that time. Now it's different. By the way, new AMP, you can be 2 years and go and run for director. And when I looked on the numbers and I saw that, yeah, we're good in numbers, but you can go deep and you can see the numbers when we went down. And when we approach 85% of our chapters, and we also, by the way, in 2023, we went global all over the world. And you saw Alan everywhere, and we were everywhere, and the officers were everywhere. And we heard our people. And we said we need a better model for members. And then already in December, we decided even to not only to improve the models, but also to provide this $99. So basically, the announcement was at conference, but the decisions and board decided on all of it already in December. But what happened was, I believe that people need to use the standards. And when we were in India and an instructor tells me that he pays $1,000 to buy our own standards to teach, then it makes no sense. We need to give back the standards, especially that we have today almost 2,000 people that are working members, 2,000 members working on the standards. So I believe this is something that belongs to the members. But because of the two boards, we had in January still to go to the other board system because they own the standards, even though because you don't want to make a decision that doesn't care about the second board, doesn't work this way. Plus, the money is sitting in different places. So this was something that took us time. At the end, the results. The members got the standards and the $99, the regular members. And just now you've also seen that also corporate members, they have new opportunities. And the thing is that these are things that awards is here, research is there, and makes no sense. Bottom line is when you have a one board, so you can be faster. You can provide a better service. You can, for example, the chapter, and we have 100 chapters, and we're now working on more chapters. They want, for example, an education. Now they can have, but who controls education? The other board. So let's say if now we have an issue where and this is a big issue, for example, if we have a place where a language barrier and all kind of stuff like this, we need to solve it because, Ben, we have today also competitors. And it's good, I believe, in the competition, but we have a very good product, but we need to be faster. And to be faster, we need one board. So basically, the decision-making, the activities, and one of the things that when you have the one board, you're basically unlocking the volunteer energy. So basically, the whole idea, as mentioned as we started, I want that every board, every member, every customer will feel that he is part of the one AMP. And when you're looking on the atmosphere, this is something which is very important. By the way, I'm not the CEO, so I won't get into staff, but think about it. When we have one board, also for the staff operation, it's a much better model. It's a more clear model, and you had your submit because we need to talk one language. And one board will also, because we're going also to different geographies. And that in the Middle East and India, in India, for example, we were there a few times. They have a huge opportunities, a huge demand for craft workers. But the problem that when we are complicated with the two boards, it's harder to go to the sensitive points and that is, you heard, we discussed. I reply to you immediately. We need to reply our customers immediately. So with one, it's going to be much more easier. And it will bring also by the numbers, we can basically hit areas where we're not yet in. For example, AI. And you saw we had also invited a speaker from AI. We will, for example, in India now in February, we had the first ever conference by student chapter in India. And today with the student chapters, it's something big that is growing. Now think about, we have today 1,200 students. These students within the 20 chapters, and they're just growing because they already said they want to reach 5,000 and then 10,000. There are our future in the industry. And you heard that we're also, I haven't spoken about it, but we will have the workforce development that will be most likely under another niche. So, remain it as is. And we even thought that most likely the workforce development will be based, focused, and it will not be, for example, under the 1AM board. It will be a focused board, small board, whatever we call it. Now it's not yet decided, so I don't want to give too much. But the idea is that everybody will focus in their speciality. And then again, the fact that we have Alan, who he has so much skills on the business oriented. And the thing with business, it's not only creating more business, it's also creating more opportunities, whether for our students and for our members. So this will give a lot.
Yeah, sure sounds like it. Before we close out the podcast, I would be remiss if I did not mention the recently completed AMP 2024 annual conference and expo, which took place in early March in New Orleans, Louisiana. We're talking a little over a month removed from that now in April. And I know there were a lot of talking points at conference. And so I want to keep it broad, and I'll let you take this wherever you want to take it, Amir. But what were some of the key talking points that you heard? What was some of the feedback that you got from those members and member leaders and staff even that you spoke with? Just what did you think of the conference, and what were some of your key takeaways? And this can be at an association level, it can be at an industry level, or it can be a combination of the two.
So first, I would like to say that it was an amazing conference. And it's also important for the people here to, and I assume members will hear us. For people that come to the conference, it looks pretty obvious. You come to the conference and everything, you see everything that it's already said. But there's so much work for the conference. And also take into account that staff, some of them, they even spend 10 days, because you have the conference, you have the preparations, you have also the board meetings, and the leaders are there, and you have the staff summit. This is also something which is pretty strong, having the staff. And I can say that all the people that approached me from staff, they were very happy. They were pleased with the association. I think they appreciated the fact that you had the summit. I wasn't the summit, and the summit was tremendously important. So I think from the staff point, 2024 brought something big. That it's not only about the members, it's also, and I even said it I said that the staff should also accredit and appreciate it, because basically in 3 years, the staff will also have a higher value, because working with the people that were working there at the summit, and with Alan, with the chiefs, this is something which is can really support everybody in his career. Regarding members, I can say that we reached a lot of members through 2023. We went all over, as mentioned. And I can say that in 2023, we had a lot of work. And one of the battles that I did not really win during the previous transition was, I really believed in the area model. Yeah, we can make a different area model. But what happened is, when I joined, you remember, I joined in a later stage, it was decided to shut down the areas. And basically what happened when we shut down the areas, we lost communication. So in 2022, when we created a task area for task forces. And actually now in our latest board meeting, and started also from last year, we brought now a model together with what we call the membership program committee, where we need to find a way where the information is going up and down from the chapters to what we have now, the delegates or representatives to the task force. And also now we have now the membership program committee, each out of the 10 members, each represent an area. So basically what we're doing, we're bringing back the areas in a way, because we understood that without information going back and forth, people, they don't get engaged. And talking about this engagement, this is very important. And I can say that I felt at conference that people felt engaged. I have maybe more than 200, and in numbers, I think it's a good number, more than 200, maybe even 250, even more than I'm thinking about it now, that came to me and said, Amir, just let us know how can we help more. And this is something big. And I saw so many people smiling and happy, and they say, yeah, we know your boards are doing a lot. We know you, but they came, with all kind of small topics that we need to fix. But once we're agile, and we will build data systems, it will be easier to reach and fix. Another thing is, I think, very important. We also worked on the public affairs, and as you know, we have legislation days, which are in 15th, 16th of May. Up until now, on the legislation days, it was a U.S.-centric event. This year will be the first time that we will have an also international affairs meetings. And it's going to be amazing. And also, I hope people will hear us. You live in the U.S., it's please, register. And also, if you're out of the U.S., it will be an amazing opportunity to meet also people from related international affairs. And the reason that I'm also mentioning this is today the APAPC committee, the public affairs, they're now working also on seminars to guide a representative in each of our 100 chapters on the legislation. By the way, we're also now working on having students on even a non-voting, but be part of the membership program committee. So they will be part of what's happening, and we will also raise and grow a future generation. But coming back to the international affairs, this is something very important because also U.S. companies, they have a huge advantage in their know-how. And we see that there are today so many multi-projects. And bottom line, when I'm looking on the AI, when I'm looking on the staff, when I'm looking on the members, and also this conference, we had a higher number of international members coming to the conference. For sure, most come from the U.S., but we are getting higher in the numbers, also in the participation numbers. And I mean, you've been there, and overall, I think the atmosphere of 2024 was amazing. And I can share with you that in 2023, in October, when I told you when we had the two boards, many people came and say, listen, we feel like we're one board already. So this is what's important. If you come to a conference, we are all in one and everybody's helping each other. And we still have so much work to do, but as one AMP, our potential and our opportunities and future will be so much promising.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. All right, as we close out the podcast, if anyone listening wants to share their input with you, learn more about the transition, or help in any way through this process, what are the things they can do? Just share any contact information that might be relevant to our listeners.
Well, Ben, in 2023 and also in 2024, I've presented so many lectures in different conferences, and one of my lectures, Future of AMP, Stronger Together. I haven't mentioned the Stronger Together, I think, in this interview podcast, but I believe in Stronger Together, and I am available. Everywhere I come, and I say, I am here to serve. One of the questions I even get WhatsApp from people say, how do you feel now as past immediate? I say, I don't deal with feeling past immediate. I'm here to serve. And as long as they provide me to serve, and also leading of the transition team, and plus, we're also part of the executive, I'll do 24/7 for the members and for the users. And so I'm available anytime at LinkedIn and WhatsApp and emails and phone. And I have no problem that when you put also the picture at the end, also put my contact details. I get contacts from all over the world, and I must say, from all of the countries, all of the world. And I help, and I do my best to help everybody. And even and together with the staff, I get all kind of things that I'm not an expert of everything for sure. But when they reach me, then I forward it to the staff. If there are things that are on the members, we will deal with the members. Things that we can maybe by officers. And I'm reachable. I'm here also to serve, also for years in the future, even when I'll be also the past chair, not the past immediate chair. Because bottom line, it's all about what you feel. and titles and terms. This is, the things how it needs to be. But people are people, and when you do everything for the people, no matter where they come from, and you saw we also have now in a new chapter in Iraq, and we've done a lot of progress now in Saudi. Bottom line, we're here for a better world. And when we work together, we're always stronger together. So please reach me, and I'll do everything to assist you. Plus, I also like to assist people that also I can tell you a lot about AMP, so people will also put their self for, to be committee members and to be future directors and maybe have a new chapter or a new student chapter, because it comes from the approaches. Someone comes, oh, I want a chapter. Okay, this is what you need to do. So since, as you said, I put so much time to AMP, I really know a lot of the details, I'm here to do everything to assist and to help. And I'm really wishing you everybody to enjoy what they're doing, because you remember what I said is the more you get involved, the better you can assist, and stronger together.
Absolutely. What a perfect way to sum it up. And I can testify to what you were saying earlier. You respond very quickly when emailed or any outreach. I'm sure it's the same on LinkedIn or any other format that someone tries to engage with you. So if anyone listening wants to get more involved or learn more about your story or AMP, then yeah, I urge them to take advantage of our guest today, Amir Eliezer, as a resource for AMP and as a leadership authority in the industry at large. All right, that will do it for today's episode. And if you want more resources from us at AMP, the easiest way to get it is at amp.org. That's the website. Go ahead, Amir.
Yeah, I just want to say that it's not about me. It's about the people that I was working since I started the first position. And it's about the directors and the members and the officers and the amazing staff we have. So it's about everybody. And one's the spirit that we're one AMP. This is I'm just a tool in this toolbox, but it's all about the networking.
For sure. Great perspective. All right, that will do it for today's episode. And again, if you want more resources from us at AMP, the best way to learn more is online, ampp.org. That's the website for the association. And you can also hit up the pages for the boards of directors at present, but we hope by January 2025 will be just one board of director, with Amir currently leading that transition team. Also, as far as our publication sites, if you go to coatingsforbag.com, materialsperformance.com, that's the best way that you can get active updates as far as industry news and everything pertaining to day-to-day operations out in the field in these industries which we serve. All right, that will do it for today's episode. For Amir Eliezer, I'm Ben Dubose with AMP Publications. Thanks as always for listening, and please come back soon for another new AMP podcast.